In this video, we're going to talk about scraping data from website, and we're going to use the WHO's SARS historical data as an example. So this page contains a bunch of lists and each of links, and each one points to a report. For example, like this one, if we right-click and open it, it is going to lead us to a report. Basically, it's a table of the SARS cases, of what time and by which country. So the idea is that first we're going to visit this website, get all the contents, and get each piece of the link and the description. And then for each link, we're going to go into the corresponding web page and grab the contents there. To get it, we will have to know where this component is, what is its tag name, and what is characteristic of that, so that we can identify that in the web page. So we can inspect that by right-click and inspect it. And basically, it is going to directly take us there. So that one, actually that component, March 13, is a link, is in a component. And this is the link, and this is the description, which basically is the same here. So that one belongs to a parent node with a class name of all2archive and within this page. So basically, that's all we have to know. We don't need to know all the structures. We only need to know some part of that, which is something with a class or ID name, so that we can identify that. So like in this case, we can identify this component by its tag name, which is UL, and its class name, which is all2archive. But one thing that we should be careful is that maybe there is another component with the same tag name, the same class name. So in that case, we need to know their order and position, so that we can obtain the right one. Now, like in this case, if we scroll down, and we will see that there is another component with the same tag name and same class name. So indeed, in this web page, there are two components of the same tag name and a class name. But luckily, our target one comes first. So in that case, we can directly select this one. Well, otherwise, if it is in the middle, then we have to be exhaustive. We have to list out all of the same component and identify them by the correct order. All right, so the idea is that we're going to use D3 to first obtain all the HTML component as a DOM object, and then we're going to turn that into a D3 object, and in which we're going to find an object with the tag of UL and the class name of all2archive. And from there, we can obtain all of the children nodes of that. And for each of the child, we're going to have the ref and also the description of that. So that's how we're going to work out using D3. So for D3, the first is that we're going to define the URL, which is the address of this page containing all the links. So we're going to have the link there. And then we're going to use the method called HTML by D3 by inputting the URL, and then we're going to obtain the data requested from this URL. So D3 is going to automatically turn the string, the response string, into a DOM object. So we're going to put it in the console log to view this obtained object. So in the console log, this is what we have. So actually, uh, it is quite similar um, to the contents we viewed by that inspection. So we're gonna try to find that. I just put that side by side. So this is by inspection, which contains the contents of that web page, and this is in the console log the DOM object that we obtained. So inside we try to find a UL with the class name of R2 archive, R2 R. So if we follow the same path, like from this page, and then inside there is a wrapper, and then inside there is a content, whatever. So down the way, we're gonna find this R2 archive here. So one other thing I've noticed that, well, if this one has been unfolded, and if you type R2 archive, you will find that. However, if it is hidden, it sounds like it cannot find it. I don't know. Yeah. So so actually that means that this search box is not so useful, or maybe I didn't use it correctly. But anyways, so the component is there. So now we can move on to find it using D3 methods. So okay, so we've found this object. So the next is that we're gonna turn that DOM object into a D3 object. So the way is to use D3 select. So there is a switch. A DOM object is just, basically it's just the HTML components. But a D3 is kind of a binding of the D3 HTML component and the data. So so all the things that if we want to use the operation like select or whatever, we have to turn the DOM object into the D3 object. So that's what we are going to do here. So I'm going to leave it there to side by side compare what is the DOM object and what is a D3 object. All right, so the first line is the DOM object, and basically it is in a HTML format. Inside you have those HTML tags. But a D3 object is kind of like an object with an array inside, and with this array, it is gonna contains those child nodes, those HTML components, and also other stuff. So we cannot directly use this DOM object, which is this D, to apply the D3 methods like select or whatever. But we can use a D3 object, which is this one, and we can apply the D3 methods like select on it. Well, oh, by the way, I tried to find the body of this DOM object. I tried, but I cannot find it. But anyway, we don't have to, because we can directly go to that UL object. So to locate it, we're going to use the select method to select this D3 object of this DOM. And then we're going to select that and select the tag of UL with the class name of R2 archive. So this will return the first UL DOM and turn that into the D3 object. So as I said, there could be multiple ones. So if you want to have all, you're going to select all, like what we did later. So if it happens that it is like it is the second, the first one, then probably you have to select all and find a way to determine the second one. Anyway, in this case, it is simpler. This is the first one. We're going to find it. And I'm going to turn that into a D3 object again. And this time I'm going to call it DUL. All right, I'm going to bring that into the console log. And again, it's a D3 object. It has the property of groups, and inside it has one component, which is the R2 archive So let's just recap the structure of the website. So we have this UL. By selecting this URL, we'll see that it covers all of these lists of links. So inside there are a bunch of lists. So the idea is that we're going to do the same trick using this D3 object. We're going to find all the child object inside with the tag name of list. So this time, because we want to select all the list objects, so we're going to use select all. So basically this one is going to give us all the D3 objects. But now I'm going to show the way of select that and convert this D3 objects into the components in the HTML DOM components. So basically to change that into the HTML DOM components, we're going to apply the method called the nodes. And that will select all of that. And this time we're going to get the DOMs instead of the D3 objects. I'm going to break it down into two steps. The first step is to obtain these components as D3 objects. The second is that I'm going to convert these D3 objects into nodes. So in the console log, we can see that the D3 object is actually one object. Inside there is a group property, and inside there is an array of 99 objects. By applying the nodes method, we're going to directly obtain those D3 objects. These DOM, these HTML DOMs. So why I have to? Why would I change that to these HTML DOMs here? So the thing is that I want to loop for each DOM and get their components. So now with this D3 object, I cannot apply this for each function. But there are of course there are other ways to work around. But I just want to show that in a more straightforward way. And plus, I'm going to show that how to switch between a D3 object and a HTML DOM. So now I have the list DOMs. These are HTML DOMs, and basically it's an array of 99 DOMs. So because it is an array, and I can use the for each function. So each time I'm going to get a HTML DOM, which I call it a link. But this time I'm going to select that to change that to D3 object again, and select the A tag, the A component inside. So that's how I'm going to have this link. So again here, so I change that back into the D3 object, and I select the A tag within it, and also select that as a D3 object. So now I have the D3 objects again. See, so these are the list of the array of all the HTML components. And inside I select for each LI, I select the A inside and convert that into the D3 object. So within each D3 object, I can get their the text, which is the description displayed here, and also I can obtain the link behind it. So in a console log, I bring it up. So this is the D3 object, this is the description, and this is the link. And you can notice that the heading part is omitted, but that would be pretty easy to find it back. So this is the link to the complete link, and if we compare this complete link to the short version of that, we will find that actually the head is simply this part, which is HTTPS, then 3W, then WHOINT, and that's it. So that will be the suffix. So now we know that uh, the uh, the description is the text part of the D3 object, and the link is the short version of that, but we're going to add the header of this. So that will be the complete link. So now we can put the text and the link into a temporary piece of object, and then we're gonna push that into in the array so that we can have all the links. So now with these lines, push that into the links array, and we have this nice array of all the links, in which there are two properties. One is the date string, the other is the link, the complete link. So bear in mind that the value of the link, only stays within this variable. This is because of the async thing. So outside, we won't get anything here. So for example, we have a console.log here. We're gonna get the result that it says this one is undefined. This is because of the async thing. So you will see that inside we can have all the components, but outside we have nothing. Because of the async problem or whatever. So the async issue. So this one is going to be executed without waiting for the contents here, whereas this one is going to wait for all the things that's been loaded. So we won't have anything here. So all the operations around this, the contents of this, the links has to